Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at something that has stirred up a lot of conversation in South Africa. Minister of Home Affairs, Motsoaledi, has sent out a strong warning to Operation Dudula about their actions against foreign nationals. He didn't mince his words this time, and it is a reminder that government is paying close attention to how things are unfolding on the ground. Please stay tuned until the end of the video to hear the sources of this news so you can verify for yourself. Before I get into the full details, please take a second to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any updates on news that directly affects our communities. Now, Operation Dudula has become a household name in recent years. They are a movement that started as a grassroots campaign, focused mainly on pushing back against what they claim is the negative impact of undocumented foreign nationals in South Africa. They have led marches, pickets, and campaigns across several provinces, with their core message being that illegal immigration is contributing to crime, job scarcity, and pressure on public services. Whether one agrees or not, their actions have been highly visible and controversial, and government has had no choice but to respond. Minister Motsoaledi's warning was very clear. He said Operation Dudula must be very careful in how they conduct themselves, because South Africa is a country governed by the rule of law, and no group of citizens has the right to take matters into their own hands in a way that undermines the Constitution. He reminded them that while frustrations around illegal immigration are valid and even acknowledged by government, the way those frustrations are expressed must remain within the law. The minister also stressed that immigration laws are already being tightened and enforced by Home Affairs, but it is a process that requires balance. South Africa has international obligations, and at the same time it must protect its borders and manage who enters and remains in the country. He pointed out that individuals or groups trying to enforce their own version of the law could lead to serious instability. It's important to remember that this is not the first time Operation Dudula has been in the spotlight. Earlier this year, there were reports of clashes between Dudula members and foreign shop owners in townships. In some cases, foreign nationals accused them of harassment and intimidation, while Dudula members argued they were simply protecting opportunities for South Africans. This back and forth has created a lot of tension on the ground, and that is part of the reason Motsoaledi felt the need to speak so firmly. He also made the point that immigration is a highly sensitive issue globally, not just in South Africa. Countries all over the world are struggling with balancing their need for skilled workers, humanitarian obligations, and the protection of jobs for their own citizens. In South Africa's case, the challenges are made worse by high unemployment, poverty, and a strained public health care system. According to him, these are real issues government is working on, but groups like Operation Dudula can actually make the situation worse if they inflame tensions instead of allowing the law to take its course. Now, many ordinary South Africans who support Dudula may feel that government has not done enough to control illegal immigration. That frustration is understandable, but the minister insisted that the right channels must be followed. He said that if people have evidence of crime or illegal activity, they should report it to the authorities rather than take action themselves. What's interesting is that Operation Dudula has, in a way, forced the national conversation to stay alive. By being so visible, they have made sure that immigration issues cannot be brushed aside. Even if some of their methods are questionable, they have put real pressure on government to act faster. That may explain why Motsoaledi's warning sounded both firm and cautious, as if he wanted to draw a line while also showing that government is listening. Looking deeper, this also raises questions about the role of civil society movements in South Africa. From the days of the anti-apartheid struggle, we know that grassroots movements can shift national politics in powerful ways. But the line is crossed when those movements start operating outside the Constitution. That is where the risk lies, and why Motsoaledi's warning matters so much. To give a bit of perspective, immigration enforcement is not easy. Deportations, processing asylum applications, and checking work permits all require massive resources. South Africa has long, porous borders with countries like Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and that makes control very complicated. Dudula sees this as government failing, but government sees it as a difficult reality that cannot be solved overnight. This debate also highlights the tension between citizens who feel desperate for opportunities and foreign nationals who are simply trying to survive. Many migrants, both legal and undocumented, are working in informal sectors, often doing jobs South Africans don't want to do, or working under exploitative conditions. On the other hand, there are South Africans who genuinely feel squeezed out of job markets and housing opportunities. It's a delicate balance, and one that requires leadership rather than confrontation. As we unpack this further, let's not forget that Operation Dudula itself is not a monolith. Some members are more radical, while others simply want order restored. What Motsoaledi is essentially saying is that no matter how good your intentions might be, you cannot take the law into your own hands. South Africa's democracy is young, and it relies on people respecting the rule of law. If Dudula continues in ways that are unlawful, we could see more direct clashes with authorities. Already, there are investigations into incidents where violence was reported during some of their operations. Government has been careful not to ban the group outright, because that could inflame tensions even more, but this warning makes it clear that there will be consequences if boundaries are crossed. At the end of the day, this whole issue is a reflection of the deeper challenges South Africa is facing: unemployment, inequality, and strained services. Immigration just becomes the easy target. But if the root problems are not addressed, tensions will remain, whether Dudula exists or not. Now, before I wrap up, let me leave you with a light thought. South Africans have always had a way of mixing serious debates with a bit of humor. You might hear someone say, if Dudula members and Home Affairs officials were to sit down in a room together, maybe they should first agree on who's bringing the pap and who's bringing the chocolate. Because after a good plate of food, maybe the conversation would sound a little less tense. On a serious note, though, immigration is not something that can be solved overnight, and everyone involved has to remember that actions have consequences. The minister's message to Operation Dudula is simple: be very careful, because once the rule of law breaks down, it is very difficult to rebuild. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates and analysis on issues that matter to us here in South Africa. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources for this news are from Southern Live, IOL News, and Times Live.